Why hello there, Hector Davil here once again. In this specific video I'm gonna show you how I personally go about using sequential profit target levels on my own trading. Now the idea here is to cash out partial blocks of your trade. Okay, let's imagine you enter the trade with I don't know, let's say 4 lots. Okay, 4 lots of the euro against the American dollar. All right, well, the idea is that you are not going to exit all those 4 lots at once, but instead you are going to be exiting let's say 1 lot at a time at different levels. All right, and the reasons of why I like to do that is to offset the risk. Let's imagine you are trading this trend, okay, and well, you trade a bounce of the dynamic area of support and resistance. That's your entry, that's your stop loss, and you place your profit taking level right there. You enter 4 lots there, and obviously, well, you put your stop loss for also all 4 lots in there, and let's imagine you want to exit all 4 lots up there. Well, what happens if price, even though it may indeed take off in your direction, but what happens if price falls shy of your final target and instead it turns around midway through the trade and finally hits your stop loss? Well, you've simply not only given back all those profits back to the market, but eventually you are actually scoring a loss. So the best course of action here is, instead of aiming for the whole home run, exiting 4 lots at your final target, how about if you exit 1 lot here, then 1 lot there, then 1 lot there, and eventually 1 lot at your final target. So if price decides to simply turn around midway through the trade, at least you've cashed out profits in there, then some more profits in there, then some more profits in there, and if you are ever to score a loss on this trade, you will only score a loss on the 1 remaining lot out of the whole 4. All right, obviously you will score profits in this lot, then more profits on that lot, and more profit on that lot, and you will simply score a minor loss, a partial loss on this final lot. Okay, so the idea in a nutshell is to offset the risk. Okay, why would you put all your eggs on one basket by shooting for 1 single exit position if you can spread the risk in 4 different levels? All right, trust me, I've tested this over and over and over and over, and always the best results over time is to diversify your risk by selecting multiple exit levels. Sequential profit target levels is an approach that's followed by most of the professional traders I know, okay, and there's a good reason for that. Again, part of trading, or a part in the success of trading, is in diversifying your risk as much as possible. All right, and as far as your profit target levels goes, the best way to do that, to diversify your risk or to offset your risk as much as possible, is to simply, again, use a sequential profit target level approach, and that's exactly what I'm going to teach you on this video. Alright, here is how I go about exiting my trades in a sequential manner. First of all, let's imagine that's my this is the swing I am trading. I spot the bounce of the dynamic area of support and resistance, and right there is, upon again spotting the bounce, and let's assume I find a valid entry there. That's where I click on my buy button. Okay, my stop loss obviously goes just immediately below the bounce point, or alternatively below the 50 simple moving average, whatever your choice may be. Well, my first target, or the first element or the first level at where I exit a portion of the trade, is always related to the previous swing high. That's the previous swing high there, right? So I simply extend that level and I exit few pips before reaching that swing high. Again, I don't know, let's say 5 pips, okay, before reaching that level, 5-10 pips, depending on the time frame you are trading. If you are basing this trade off the 1 hour time frame, then maybe 5 pips is okay. If you are trading off the daily or even the weekly time frame, then you may want to stretch that down to, let's say, 10, 15, 20 pips. At any rate, you want to exit a significant portion of the trade before hitting the previous swing high. Why is that? Well, because this level has already proved, it's already proven to be a resistance point. I mean, price already topped out at that level on the previous swing, right? So if this level already worked as resistance on the previous swing, why shouldn't it work as resistance once again? And therefore, why shouldn't it price bounce down off that level once again, effectively forming a double top? Okay, a double top, I'm sure you've seen plenty of times, double tops or double bottoms on your charts. A double top is nothing but price confirming a resistance level. A previous resistance level, right? Whenever price confirms a previous resistance level, well, there you have it. That's your double top right there, right? So how do you protect yourself and your trade, obviously, from that? Well, by exiting a significant portion of your trade immediately before hitting that level. Again, 5, 6, 8 pips before reaching that level. So if price upon testing that previous resistance level again, obviously you've cashed out by then a significant portion of the trade at that level. If price turns around from there and finally hits your stop loss, at least you've secured these many pips in profits. Okay, at least you've made money on all these many pips. Sure, you may lose these many here on this remaining portion of the trade, but well, you more or less come up to break even or even come up on top by a little bit. All right, that's how you protect yourself from this eventuality of, you know, facing a double top. Now, how much do you exit at that level? My rule of the thumb, always 50%. Okay, 50% of your trade at the previous or before hitting the previous swing high. On this bounce here, you would exit 50% of the trade right there. So let's imagine you took the trade with 3 lots. Well, you want to exit 1.5 lot right there. And yes, most traders do allow to close fractional lots. That's okay, no problem there. Again, 95% of the Forex brokers out there do allow you to close partial lots. If your broker doesn't, well, shop around for a better broker, as simple as that. Okay, this is 2010. It's been a long time. Brokers do allow you to open and close fractional lots. All right, so again, 50% of your lot size at the previous swing high. And then the remaining portion of the trade, okay, the remaining, let's say, 1.5 lot, or at any rate, the remaining 50% of your lot size is to be exited in 3 different chunks, in 3 different blocks. And I'm going to show you a indicator that I use myself as usual. It's been customly coded by my programmer, but at any rate, I'm very glad to, you know, share it with you guys. It is my very pleasure to, you know, share my stuff with you. This indicator plots 3 projection levels. Basically what it does is it takes the dynamic area of support and resistance, and according to one, well, specific algorithm, I'm not gonna share the the secret the secret recipe here, but you know, it's enough to say that it simply projects the dynamic area of support and resistance as per one specific algorithm, and well, it gives us 3 target points. So you want to divide that 50% of the trade in 3 different further blocks, exiting a little portion of the trade, let's say out of that 50%. So if you have 50% of the trade remaining on, running on the market, well, you would exit maybe 20% there, then another 15% there, and another 15% at the final target. Okay, so 50% here, then let's say, I don't know, 20, then 15 and 15 all together, 100% obviously. And well, by the time, if ever your price reaches your final target, you are out of the market, out of the trade altogether, and all the trade through, you've been cashing out little portions of the trade all along. So again, should price turn around, at least you've made money here, you made money there, and you made money there, and you only have a little portion of the trade running. Please mind that as the swing wears on, the higher the chances that eventually it will run out of steam. Every swing eventually runs out of steam, and I'm gonna stress this, guys. I have to repeat it. I'm very sorry, but I have to repeat it. Every swing eventually runs out of steam, and eventually it always turns around. It's just a matter of when. You don't know when that's gonna happen, but it is indeed going to happen. So it may happen here, it may happen here, who knows, it may happen up there, you never know. So, well, why not? You should indeed protect yourself from that by cashing out little portions of the trade all along. All right. Now, let's go into my actual Forex trading platform, and I'm going to show you the indicator in a minute. All right, here we are on my charting platform. We are now looking into the American dollar against the CHF, the Swissy, all right, the Swiss franc on day 4 hours time frame. What do we see here? Well, we have, first of all, obviously the 3 simple moving averages, all right, the 30, the 50, and the 100. Nothing has changed there. But, well, we can also see a colored area here as per the dynamic area of support and resistance, okay? Basically, once the 3 simple moving averages come in order, pointing in the same direction, blah, 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 I simply asked my programmer to somehow color the dynamic area of support and resistance in blue, in light blue, whenever the trending conditions, come in place. From here, from that point on, the trend begins, and therefore the indicator begins to track or to color the dynamic area of support and resistance in order to, well, wait for potential bounces of this area. All right. Moreover, you can probably see 3 lines there, right? 3 lines there. Those are the projection, the target projections I was talking about before. Okay. Now, let me actually show you the indicator. By the way, the trend filter indicator is that one down there. I believe you are already familiar with that one. As you can see on the 4 hours time frame, the indicator is calling an uptrend with that green circle because we are indeed uptrending, right? By the way, this second indicator, the one with the colored dynamic area of support and resistance and the target projections, is this one here, the 3 SMA indicator. By the way, you can apply that on any time frame of your choice, okay? No matter whether you are an intraday trader, a long-term trader, or if indeed you are like me and you like to trade every single time frame, you can use this indicator no matter your time frame of preference. Anyway, let's dig into this indicator. Let me click on the edit button. Well, first of all, the colors, you can choose the colors here, okay, to look or to, tweak or edit the indicator to your likings. And here on the inputs tab, well, those are the 3 simple moving averages, the 30, the 50, and the 100. And down here, we have the risk profile, all right? Number 1 is conservative, number 2 is, well, medium risk, and number 3 is aggressive. You simply enter here whatever risk profile you want to follow as a trader. Either number 1, again conservative, just simply click on it, double click, and punch in a 2 if you are, let's say, a medium risk trader, or if you are indeed a an aggressive trader, simply punch in a 3. What does it do? Well, if you are an aggressive trader and you enter a 3, the projections will be pushed up by, well, yet another algorithm a little bit farther up. So right now I believe it's set to 1, so I'm gonna place it to 2, and you will see the projections bump up a little bit. Please, as I click on the accept button, please mind the projections. 1, 2, there it goes. Do you see how they jumped up a little bit up? So once again, if I click on edit and now I click on 3 and I click on accept, there they go. They jump up a little bit more. Okay, so depending on how aggressive or conservative you are with your trades or with your trading, you may want to, tweak the indicator, searching for further profits up high in the swing, or if you are conservative, the indicator will simply call you to close the trades, portions of the trade, a little bit earlier on in the swing. Okay, for the time being, I think I left it, 2, 3. The risk profile is left at 3, meaning an aggressive setting. It doesn't matter. Like I said, it depends on you. So in this specific situation, in this specific scenario, where would we place our targets? Well, let's review that together, shall we? Let's imagine we are trading this bounce there. All right, we take our trade anywhere in there, our stop loss anywhere in there, or below the 50 simple moving average. All right, and we are to, obviously the trade moves in our direction, and we are to to define our exit levels. We need to define where we want to exit the trade. Well, as usual, the first area to take into consideration is the previous swing high. So what we are going to do is to mark a horizontal line right off the previous swing high, and we are going to exit 50% of our trade. Okay, right there. Let's imagine we took the trade with I don't know, 6 lots. All right, 6 lots of the American dollar against the Swissy. Right there. So we want to locate or to exit 3 lots immediately before reaching the previous swing high. Right there, we exit 3 lots. So at that moment, we would only have 3 lots remaining on the market, 3 lots running on the market for further profit. Where do we exit those remaining 3 lots? Well, we divide them in 3 small blocks, let's say 1 lot each. We would exit 1 lot there as price. Actually, let me zoom in a little bit more. Okay, so 3 lots go out there. Then as price touches the first band, the first projection band, we exit 1 more lot. Then right there we exit 1 further lot, and eventually price ticks. Okay, price finally touches our final projection band, and that's where we exit the the 6th lot. All right, 3 go out there, the 4th goes out there, the 5th one goes out there, and very shortly after, the 6th and last lot goes out there. Effectively, please mind how, if that's our entry right there, how we've made these many pips on 3 lots, these many pips on the 4th lot, these many pips on the 5th lot, and these many pips on the final 6th lot. Okay, we are progressively cashing out our profits out of the market, securing, banking our profits as the swing moves along in our direction before it collapses. Again, it always collapses. I mean, my goal with this projection band indicator, as you can see, is as accurately as possible to pinpoint the full projections of the swing. I've worked extensively with my programmer, working quite many hours on this indicator, and as you can see, it's rather accurate. But the markets, as I always say, they are not perfect. Who knows? Price may run out of steam there, and your final profit taking level may never be hit. Again, this indicator is rather accurate as far as calling the projections in a trendiness scenario, but like no other indicator, like any other indicator, I mean, it's not perfect. And well, why would you risk shooting for the home run if you can secure some profits along the way. Okay, that's the thinking here, and trust me, it works. Okay, so I do recommend you to follow this approach. Now, what about if I let me go back into the indicators, edit, and I'm actually going to go into a conservative approach. Let me click on accept. And as you can see, the indicators bands, the projection bands are pushed down. That means that the indicator will, kind of advise or, recommend to cash out little portions of the trade earlier on in the swing. Again, because we are following a more aggressive, a more conservative setting. Now I'm going to zoom in once again. And as you can see, the first target is to be reached before the previous swing high. Okay, that doesn't matter. Okay, we are still going to be exiting 50% of the trade around that area. So if we know that we took our trade right there with 6 lots, okay, we know that 3 lots are going to go out at that level no matter what. All right, so we still have 3 lots left to spread among these 3 different lines. So again, 1 lot would go out there, then another lot would go out there, then 3 further lots will go out at that moment, at that level there, and the final 6th lot will go out at that point. All right, again, no matter where the projection bands come in, okay, as the swing evolves, no matter that, you will still base 50% of your lot size around the previous swing high. Okay, now a few things you should be aware of if you decide to place this use this indicator on your own charting platform. First of all, the dynamic area of support and resistance is colored in blue if we are in an uptrend, or in red if we are in a downtrend. Okay, blue uptrend, red downtrend, right? Obviously, as I already mentioned, you can edit the colors at the indicator's properties window, right? Second, the projection bands, okay, these projection bands there are only valid if we are in a trending scenario. So if price is flapping sideways and you see a projection band there or there, that doesn't mean that you should trigger your long entry shooting for those profits, either up there for long entries or down there for short entries. This indicator assumes that you are trading with the trend, okay, and therefore it assumes that we are indeed in a trending scenario. Please mind that this indicator simply calculates, or some type of algorithm, and projects the dynamic area farther up in order to calculate the swing projection tops, right? So if we have no dynamic area, okay, if the moving averages are not in place, they are not in order, they are not parallel to each other, etc., etc., then the projections in themselves lack any meaning whatsoever. Okay, so please only shoot for these projections if we are indeed in a trending scenario. I mean, the whole system assumes that we have the trend in our side. Okay, so obviously, the projection bands in themselves are no exception. And finally, I am sure a few of you are already thinking, you smart fellas, you are already thinking, hey Hector, can I go short? Can I reverse my position at the projection bands? I mean, can I search for counter trend trades at the projection bands? I'm sorry, but no, you cannot. You cannot do that. Even though I've tried my very best with my coder to find this indicator as accurately as possible, marking the swing highs, the projection for the swings, and as you can see, it is rather rather accurate. The swing highs usually come within the projection bands. Again, I've tried my very best to code a rather accurate indicator. Please mind the nature, the philosophy of the system as a whole. This is a trend riding system. Why would we use a tool that's been how would I express this in English? Why would we use a tool that's been coded with the trend in mind in order to search for counter-trend trades? It makes no sense. It's like going against the nature of, firstly, the system, and second, the tools developed for the system, right? So if you decide to tweak this system in order to search for counter-trend trades of the projections, you are on your own here. Okay, I'm not going to be able to answer any email, or I'm not going to be able to provide any support or to help you in anywhere or to teach you anything regarding this system, because then you would be tweaking the system on your merry willing, okay, on your own choice, and again, that's just not my system anymore. All right, and that's basically it. I'm sorry, guys, I had to get it out of my chest. I hope you understand. But anyway, you can find the download link to download this indicator under this video. Again, you are very welcome to use it. Please download it with my compliments. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye. Sorry guys, just one final note before I forget. Please mind that, well, not every trend is the same, alright? Some trends do carry a little bit of, well, extra momentum, extra volatility, so to speak, and therefore, the swings, each individual swing may be carried out farther away from the dynamic area of support and resistance. Okay, if that's the case, such as for example in this trend, as you can see, the swing extreme points overshoot the projection bands, but by quite a fair bit, okay, by quite a little bit, and therefore it's not a bad idea to simply go into the indicators properties window and readjust the risk profile, okay, just because, well, it's a good idea to adjust the projection bands to each individual trend. So let me go from 1 to 3. All right, there we are. And now, do you see how the projections hack? They swing extreme points much better, okay, much more accurately. So, like I say, it's not a bad idea if you either, well, compress or extend the projection bands by using the risk settings, and to, well, adjust each individual trend to its right settings. Okay, it's not a bad idea. Like I say, some trends do have a little bit more of momentum, some others, well, some others are a bit more conservative, and you want to adjust your projections to each individual trend. Alright, so that's another way on how you can tweak this specific indicator to, squeeze as much or as many pips in profit out of each consecutive swing. That's just my recommendation. Alright? Okay guys, cheers, bye-bye.